So let's rank all the films I watched for the first time for the month of January 2026.
Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews.
So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D. Today I'm going to be bringing to you my January 2026 first time watches ranking. Now, I've watched 24 films, and like before, like usual, I'm going to try and do my best and go rapid fire on each film. Try not to talk too much because there's some of these films I have not talked about. But rest assured, I will get through this in no time, I hope. Now, if you're ready, let's start the rankings. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Coming in at number 24 is Hag. This is a new Tubi film that I actually didn't know actually premiered before last year was over with. I am going to say this film was kind of strange. I liked it a little, but maybe not a whole lot. It's about this man named Rowan who, after a decade apart, he rents his spare room to Mag, a self-proclaimed hag whose obsession with him grows into a life or death showdown. While I'm appreciative of the horror and thriller elements of the film, but some of it kind of turned into stuff I was not too thrilled to see and what have you. But I won't talk much about that because I haven't reviewed any Tubi movie. Sorry, but Hag, it's an okay film. Check it out if you got what it takes to see it. Now, coming in at number 23 is Silk from 1986. Now, this is one of those tough chick flicks which stars Sis Varel as the titular character, the toughest cop in Honolulu who busts small-time smugglers only to reveal a larger syndicate smuggling Asian mobsters into the States by buying the identities of Hawaiian citizens. Well, I'm going to say that the film's okay. It just didn't turn out to be, well, great as I hoped for him. Now, I watched this after my friend the Porchman watched this, and he did a review of that on his channel. Well, I'm gonna say this film's fine, Wivey. Not as great as some other badass chick flicks I've seen. I've seen much better ones over this one, including one which is a ways ahead on this range. But still, it's an okay film. Not as great as I hoped for. And coming at number 22 is Pledge Night from 1990. Now, this film, I'll say, is also okay, but its kills were pretty bloody and what have you. Though it's about a fraternity pledge who returns from the grave to even the score with a member's cause his death 20 years ago. Uh, this guy experienced a real death just like anything I could see. I mean, I compare this to any others and what have you, where a prank goes wrong, like Terror Train, what have you. Well, it does have a pretty good cast in mind, but I think the kills are pretty bloody, though. Y'all might want to check it out if you got the guts and glory to check it out. Same goes for the next one. Coming in at number 21 is Return to Sleepaway Camp from 2008. Now, this brought back the director and writer of the original film, Robert Hiltzik, back as campers and staff at a camp mysteriously begin disappearing, turning to gruesome corpses. Yep, paranoid dude can't shake the memory of a series of grisly murders that took place at Camp Arawak 2 decades earlier. I appreciate this being a good continuation, and I am glad we got to see Felissa Rose back in the film, and even Jonathan Tiersten as Ricky, and Paul D'Angelo as Ronnie as well. I will say some of the characters are absolutely bonkers, nutsoids, and what have you, but I think the kills are pretty awesome. I know I've already re-reviewed the original trilogy. I might think of reviewing this later on this year, perhaps. We'll see what happens. Details to follow when that comes. Now, coming in at number 20 is Black Phone 2 from last year in 2025. Now, Scott Derrickson returns as director and writer, and well, we have Mason Thames back as Finn, Madeline McGraw as Gwen, and Ethan Hawke as the Grabber. Well, Finn is struggling with his life after escaping from the Grabber, along with his sister Gwen, who's been receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and sees disturbing visions of three boys being stalked at a winter camp. Check out my spoiler-free review of this if you haven't seen it yet. This film's pretty good. Not as good as the first one, though, but still proves to have a little bit of terror in it. Definitely. And coming in at number 19 is How to Lose a Popularity Contest. Now, this is a new Tubi rom-com, which actually got a sneak preview of last year when Sideline 2 premiered. Now, this is about a rebellious student and a perfectionist overachiever who form an unlikely alliance in their race for student body president, discovering unexpected feelings along the way. Now, this I'm gonna say was pretty good. I kind of had a little more liking over even the Sideline films, but don't worry, I still liked those two. They were pretty good, but this probably pulled off a little more. It also gave us a little sneak preview of a new film Netflix has not Netflix, Tubi has come up this. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Apologies. Yeah, it gave us a sneak preview of a new film that Tubi's got coming up later in the month called Kissing is the Easy Part, which stars Asher Angel. I am looking forward to that. The cast isn't too bad, and well, its direction and story isn't too bad here. This is a pretty decent teen rom-com. I have to say, it's really good. You may want to check that out. Now, coming in at number 18 is The Pickup. Now, this is a recent Prime Video film from last year, and in 2025, and it stars Eddie Murphy. Along with Pete Davidson and Keke Palmer, who I've got to say are absolutely really great characters in this. I didn't take the time to watch this, considering this film got hated on and what have you. It's about a routine cash pickup that takes a wild turn when mismatched armored truck drivers, Russell and Travis, are ambushed by ruthless criminals led by Zoe, a savvy mastermind. I thought this was actually pretty good in my view, given the fact that this was directed by Tim Story, who also directed Fantastic Four from 2005 and its sequel, as well as the Ride Along films and Taxi, and Barbershop. I am going to be reviewing one of his recent hits, the Tom and Jerry live action film, later in the month. But back to The Pickup. I gotta say, I feel bad that I didn't watch this at first, but after that, I'm glad I did. It was pretty fun, what have you. The Pickup, it's pretty fun. This is a very good redemption of a comeback for, well, maybe not just an actual redemption, because he redeemed himself, made a big comeback with Beverly Hills Cop Axel F a year prior, you know what I'm saying? A. Murphy, pretty good. And coming in at number 17 is The Rip. Now, I recently did a spoiler-free review of this film. This is a new Netflix action thriller flick where trust frays when a team of Miami cops discover millions in a cache inside a rundown stash house, calling everyone and everything into question. I gotta say, this film was kind of baffling though, and what have you, but it was fine and what have you. I kind of liked it. With it being directed by Joe Carnahan, I thought it was pretty good. It was good to see Matt Damon and Ben Affleck together again. That's what made it even more good. If you haven't seen The Rip yet, you gotta check it out. It's pretty good. And coming in at number 16 is Santa Claus from 1996. Now, I know Christmas is already over with, but when I watched and heard about this film on someone's vid on Christmas horror flicks. I found this on Tubi and I thought I'd check it out. About a young man who finds his divorced mother having sex with a man in a Santa Claus hat, and he shoots them both dead. And years later, now thinking he is Santa Claus, the man develops an obsession with an erotic horror film star and begins stalking her. I gotta say, this film was really, really twisted, but pretty good. I mean, as much as I like Silent Night, Deadly Night, this kind of comes right up there in a way. I may watch it again and review it possibly later in the year. You never can tell. I mean, its anniversary is coming up this year, as a matter of fact. We'll see what happens. Details to follow. Next at number 15 is People with Me on Vacation. Now, this is a new Netflix romantic dramedy flick based on the book of the same name. About a girl who's a free spirit and one who loves a plan. And after years of summer vacations, these polar opposite pals wonder if they could be a perfect romantic match. Well, now I feel bad I didn't include it. I failed to include this on my schedule, but I'll tell you what, I might make up for lost time and review it maybe next month. We'll see what happens. After watching this film, I must admit this was pretty good. I mean, sure, it has its issues, but still, it provided a good feel to it. I like the performances from Emily Bader, and Tom Blythe, who played Poppy and Alex. They were pretty good and what have you. It does have some pretty funny moments, though, but People We Meet on Vacation, not too bad. It's pretty good. And coming in at number 14 is Tomboy from 1985, a very underrated chick flick. I gotta say, this is a pretty good film about a budding female race car driver who finally meets her racing idol and unbelievably try, well, to get to this, and they eventually fall in love. And, well, a love that's quickly put to the test when, having received the chance to show her racing talents, the two find themselves in a race for a multi-million-dollar sponsorship contract. I gotta say, this is pretty good in what have you. Betsy Russell does a great job in playing the titular character. But I gotta say, this is such an underrated film. I'll definitely have to talk about it, but I didn't know this came out through my fifth birthday, though. Wow. But Tomboy's pretty good, and it has a pretty good theme song, too. Pretty awesome. And same can be said for the next film. Coming in at number 13 is Star Hops from 1978. Another chick flick. It's fun and what have you. I mean, just because it's a chick flick, I will say it's pretty fun and what have you. Well, it's about story of two waitresses and a French chef turn a failing driving restaurant that gets sold by its owner and turn it all around and what have you. I gotta say it's pretty good and it does have some pretty funny characters and what have you, especially right from one of them, the late great Gillian Kessner, whom is the star of another film which is still a ways ahead on here. But Star Hop's not too bad. Kind of underrated though, but not it's kind of a pretty good film. It's a little crazy though, but pretty fun though. And coming in at number 12 is Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie from last year in 2025. Now, this, of course, is based off of the Netflix series of the same name and being DreamWorks' second, well, non live action flick. Well, not, let me rephrase that. I got messed up. Non anime film. Not, well, it's not anime completely. It is anime in some parts. After the Dragons remake this past summer, well, last summer, I'm getting tongue tied here, saying the wrong blooming things. Apologies, people. But I must say, this was kind of cute and what have you. I mean, I liked Layla Lockhart Craner playing Gabby and Gloria Estefan as Grandma Gigi. Those were pretty good characters. And Kristen Wiig as Vera, the cat lady. I have to say, she's pretty good. The Gabby cats are cute and what have you. This film's pretty cute. You need to check out my spoiler-free review of it if you haven't seen it yet. It was already the most viewed video on my channel last month. Definitely. And next at number 11 is the Toxic Avenger remake, also from last year, although this originally was from 2023. Peter Dinklage plays the titular character, whose name is Winston. A downtrodden janitor is exposed to a catastrophic accident. A catastrophic toxic accident is. He's transformed into the Toxic Avenger. Yeah, this film's pretty intense, pretty bloody, really crazy, really nuts, so etc., 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 etc. Jacob Tremblay's pretty good in this. A lot of the cast isn't too bad, but I also like seeing Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon in this as well. I'll try and review this along with the originals later on down the road. Stay tuned for those. Now for the top 10. At number 10 is Spinal Tap 2, the End Continues, which was also from last year. It was great to have Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer reprise their roles from the cult classic of This Is Spinal Tap in this film, which is still ahead on this ranking. Rob Reiner returns as the director, but this was unfortunately before his tragic murder before last year was over with. But I've got to say, this film's pretty fun, not quite as good as the first, but still pretty good, especially with a lot of cameos from big name superstars. Check out my spoiler-free review of it if you haven't seen it yet. And coming in at number 9 is The Van from 1977. This is about this dude named Bobby who blows all his college savings on a van and tries to get the girl of his dreams. And it turns into a real wild time. I gotta say, this film's crazy but pretty good. And from the looks of it, pretty underrated. Stuart Goetz plays Bobby, and I gotta say, he's pretty good. If you've not seen this movie yet, this is another fun flick and why have you. You gotta see what's inside this van. This is unlike anything you could ever possibly imagine. I'll talk more about this if I decide to review it. The van, not too bad. And next at number 8 is Heads of State. This is another Prime film from last year I didn't take the time to watch, but I soon decided to take the time to watch it. I gotta say, this is a blast. It's about the UK Prime Minister and US President who have a public rivalry that risks the country's alliance. But when they become targets of a powerful enemy, they're forced to rely on each other as they go on a wild multinational run. Allied with a brilliant MI6 agent, they must find a way to thwart a conspiracy that threatens the free world. I'll talk more about this if I decide to review it, but I do think this film's pretty fun and what have you. John Cena, Idris Elba, heck, even Priyanka Chopra Jonas, they were really good. I gotta say, it has some pretty good, hilarious moments, some pretty good action, and all that jazz. I think this film was really, really something. Definitely. And coming in at number 7 is Fudge-mania from 1995. This was a made for TV film and precursor to the TV series of Fudge, based on the book series by Judy Blume. I gotta say, this film was pretty darn funny and pretty hilarious, just like the show itself. It's got the cast we've seen in the first in the actual series. So I've got to say, it's really a funny little film. The full movie is actually on YouTube. You can check it out if you'd like. I may talk about this movie down the road. Now, I've already talked about the Fudge TV series since it aired on Saturday mornings. So anyway, Fudge-mania, not too bad. Next up at number 6 is The Sure Thing from 1985. Now, this is the late great Rob Reiner's second film. His first film is still ahead. I've already reviewed this film already. It's about a beer guzzling slob and an uptight Ivy Leaguer or an unlikely duo stuck together on a cross country trip during Christmas break. At first, they get on each other's nerves, but as time passes, they find their divergent natures complement each other. Now they need to realize what they've already found before it's too late. I gotta say, this film's really good. John Cusack's good. Daphne Zuniga's good. I gotta say, it's pretty good and what have you. The Sure Thing, not too bad of a film. I feel bad that I've never seen this film until just more recently. I think it proves to be a pretty good rom com, especially this being one of John Cusack's early films. And coming in at number 5 is Firecracker from 1981. Now, this film is the film with Gillian Kessner, who plays the titular character, whose real name is Suzanne Carter, a femme fatale martial arts expert who teaches the mafia a lesson. I gotta say, this is another underrated film and what have you, but this blew my mind and what have you. Kessner really steals the show and proves that she is so may she rest in peace. That is. Yeah, but this was one of her early films in YB. But I gotta say, this film looks pretty darn awesome, especially one scene where she's trying to get away from bad guys. And well, I won't give the details away on that. I'll tell you more if I decide to review this film. Firecrackers are real good hot chick flick. That's why I kind of picked it to be way higher than Silk. No hard feelings to y'all who have seen that. But Firecracker proved to be pretty good. And coming in at number 4 is Our Friend Marin from 1999. This is an animated educational film for kids about Martin Luther King Jr. and the American Civil Rights Movement. The story focuses on two friends who travel through time meeting Dr. King at several points during his life. It featured a big all-star cast of voices, too many to mention. But I watched this on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I've got to say, this was really something. The full movie is on YouTube. Check it out if you'd like. It's pretty good. Now, coming in at number 3 is Soul on Fire from last year, released from in 2025. This is the true story of John O'Leary, a young boy who strives to live and show everyone what is possible with the help of his family, faith, community, and his longtime idol's kindness in the entire city of St. Louis after a horrific accident that leaves his body completely burned and scarred. I gotta say, this film's really good. Check out my spoiler-free review of this if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, Joel Courtney of the Kissing Booth trilogy on Netflix does a great job in playing John O'Leary. We got a pretty big cast that also includes William H. Macy, John Corbett, and Devon Franklin. You gotta check this film out. I think this is an amazing film of faith and what have you. Very good. And for the final two, this was a tough decision to make, but I could kind of took my chances with. So coming in at number 2 is The Wrecking Crew. This is the newest film on Prime Video that's pretty darn awesome. I loved it. Check out my spoiler-free review if you haven't seen it yet. Of course, this follows two estranged half brothers as they reunite after their father's mysterious death, as they search for the truth, buried secrets, revealing conspiracy threatening to tear their family apart. Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, they do one hell of a job as these here two half brothers, and I gotta say, this film's pretty darn awesome. I won't tell you more. You just gotta watch my spoiler-free review to hear my full thoughts on this film. Definitely. And coming in at number 1, my number 1 first time watch of January 2026 is This is Spinal Tap from 1984. Now, although I've seen bits and pieces of the film at first, but this is the first time I ever watched the film in its entirety. This film's so blooming awesome. Directed by the late great Rob Reiner in his directorial debut. I must say, this is a great mockumentary about the titular band itself, Spinal Tap. Very crazy. Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, they do one hell of a job as playing the titular characters. I gotta say, it's awesome. Like I said, its new sequel's not too bad, but not as good as this one. This film's a classic in my view, and I gotta say, it proved to be a good one, and I really did like it. It was superb. So there you go. There's my ranking of first time watches for January 2026. What did you watch for the first time in January 2026? Let me know in the comments section below. Leave me your top pick, your top three, top five, top 10, whatever you want to leave. Whatever you want to do, leave them for me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And join me next time when I bring to you my spoiler-free review of The Wrong Paris. So if you like this, check out my reviews of the top 3 films. The upper left-hand corner is my review of This is Spinal Tap. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of The Wrecking Crew. And the bottom left-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of Soul on Fire. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.